What's up, everybody? Let's talk some more King Arthur Legends Rise. Seether here. So the game's currently in open beta. It's available globally on Steam, on the PC, limited to regions on mobile. If you need help getting access or maybe to visit those areas, check out my other video on the channel. It'll walk you through how to do that. So we have a progression reboot coming up. It's no official date or timing on it yet, but essentially we have an upcoming what they're calling progression reboot. So not a wipe, not a restart. You're going to keep your current account level. You're going to keep hero level, relic level, gear level, anything in your inventory, gold, all the upgrade materials, anything in your bags, like all that stuff is safe. The only thing that's resetting is like the progression through the story, the levels of dungeons, all that, like the progression, the achievements, like that is what's resetting. So you're thinking like, okay, well, if that's about to happen, why would I start playing the game now? Well, number one, because of what I just said, like all of your progress and power and everything regarding your inventory and heroes is not going to change. Okay. Number two, it's a gigantic double dip, right? You're gonna collect all these free to play rewards as you progress right now, and then when everything resets, you're gonna be able to play through the story and the dungeons and all that stuff again with your current roster, with your current power, blaze through the majority of it, and reclaim all that stuff all over again. Okay, huge benefit, right? Just double dipping, claiming all that free stuff, getting a leg up on the competition. So, so since that hasn't been announced yet in terms of when, like, how do you do it as fast and as efficient as possible? Okay, so let's talk about story. To get the maximum tier compensation rewards for, which is something else that they're offering us, you have to clear Chapter 7. So essentially getting to Chapter 8, okay, in the story on normal. So getting to Chapter 8 on normal in story. So how do you do that quick and efficient? So you can clear the entirety of the story without a single legendary hero. You can clear the entirety of, in fact, in the entirety of the story can be done with the given like protagonist, Arthur. He's your damage, he's your DPS. You can use a couple of uncommons and a healer, any healer. Okay, so a very basic lineup will carry you through the entirety of the storyline. Okay, these two guys, these uncommons. I mean, you can pull them with the free summon. You get 5 free summons a day that can summon commons and uncommons. So you can get these guys pretty easily. I won't go into the details of why for in terms of time, but just trust me, these 2 uncommons are amazing. Okay, so Arthur, a healer, and a couple of uncommons. Okay, you're going to get into Gorgos, right? So this is the guy that gives you the materials to start up your heroes. Every 10 levels, you have to ascend the star rating to enable to advance to the next 10 levels. So here you're going to need Anguish. He's a rare, but you're going to need Anguish and DJ for short. Dejaret. I don't know how to say his name, but yeah, DJ. The other 2 are optional. A couple healers. Yeah, I'm showing Merlin, but you don't need Merlin. So Anguish, DJ, and a couple of healers. That'll get you through Gorgos content, okay, for those advancement orbs. Then you get into Aldri. These are for the star seeds. So these, just like orbs, instead of advancing your star level on your character, these advance the star level on your relic. Okay, level, relic level, and gear. So hero level, relic level, and gear is roughly about 1/3 of your total power each. Okay, so all 3 are just about equally important in terms of how you build up power. Okay, so Aldri can be done again. Anguish, couple healers, and Argus, or Accolon. I use Argus because he's uncommon. He's easier to get. Because he's an uncommon, he can be leveled up easier. But Argus and Accolon are the 2 heroes that will do what's called disrupt recovery, and that's what prevents this damn bear from healing from like like basically up to full life, even if he's at 10% or less. Like he will full heal in driving minutes. Okay, so that's what you need here. Okay, getting into like using anguish is just as an example. A dot hero, a damage over time hero, can do 50% of the damage on Aldry. Like you do not need DPS. If you get someone like Betty, and his Frost Relic, this is the best DPS character in the game, right? Best DPS in the game, and I know it's just one example, but roughly he can do 65, 70% of the damage. So Anguish just as capable of doing the job in terms of bringing Aldry down. Okay, the pig. So you've got Kay, who you get in the story. She has a leadership ability that is meant for this dungeon. Her basic attack, her S1, her basic attack is 5 hits. Okay, the pig has a mechanic that's it's a shield, it's a barrier that you have to hit multiple times to bring it down. So everybody else here, their basic attack is at least a 2 hit. So you get multiple hits to kind of bring down that barrier as you progress. Um, again, legendary is not required. This boss, yeah, this boss is easier with certain legendaries. This is just the gold boss, though. It's not absolutely critical, although gold is nice. It is a pretty big bottleneck in the game. But again, you can progress pretty far with something simple as like the one unique character designed to override the boss's mechanic, a DPS, and a couple healers or a healer and a support. Okay. You will eventually get into something like this with the legendaries, which we'll get into in a second. But before I do, like, I'm just reemphasizing. So Arthur, a couple uncommons, and a healer, right? Anguish, DJ, and then 2 others. Anguish, DJ, 2 others. Argus or Akalon, and then you've already got Anguish from the previous team and 2 others. Okay. Arthur, healer, uncommon, and then K, who's given to you. So the point being is you need to avoid the number one mistake that you can make in this game, especially as a beginner, which is building your roster wide instead of tall and narrow. So leveling up, spending resources, spending gold, spending orbs, spending star seeds on 15, 20 different characters, right? Any character you summon, and you just end up spreading your resources too thin. So like this example, 7 or 8 heroes can carry you through like all of the prime content in the game needed to like advance your characters, advance your relics, and give you a little bit of gold to help you along the way. Okay. So I'll just touch on this real quick. This is the team that I use for this boss, and I've cleared it in 20 seconds on level 10. There are those that can clear it even faster than that. But these 4 legendaries, well, okay, 5. Like picture Morgan right here. Okay, so Merlin, Betty, Guinevere, Gillian, and Morgan. Like put those in your memory. If you pull one of those 5 legendaries, they are carry easy buttons that they can be used practically anywhere. If you pull one of those 5, they get your immediate like attention in terms of like focusing on their advancement. Okay, but as good as they are not required to do anything we just talked about. Okay, all right, cool. So there you have it. There's the again 6, 7 characters, 8 characters tops that you can focus on that are all rare or lower. Several of which are given to you, well, 2 at least are given to you in the game. The rest can be like easy summons for almost everybody. Okay, good to go. So all right, so now that you've got like how and where to focus, here's a couple more mistakes that you like need to avoid. Okay, back to like the resource management. There are finite resources, especially starting off, right? Okay, do not use experience potions. This is a common Kate. She's level 10. I'll advance her real quick so she can get the 2nd star and go up to level 20 tops. Okay, so do not use these things past level 20. Okay, so from to on a common, which every tier you go up, it gets more expensive, and every tier of potion that you go down also gets more expensive. So, in other words, a legendary is more expensive to level up than a common, and using with whatever the small pots are more costly in terms of gold than using the large ones. Okay, so just to go to 20 on a common, which is the cheapest, using all like the best potions is 5,000. Okay, not a big deal. So we'll level that up. Again, common though, using all the best pots. Now I'll go ahead and advance it for the name of science, even though I wouldn't just regular level this normally. So it goes to 8,000. So I know it's still, we're not talking about huge values, but in terms of percentages, that's like a 30 something percent increase. Okay. Again, we're talking about a common. It's much higher on like legendaries. So don't use potions past like level 20, 30 tops. Okay. You want to save that gold for other things. All right. Okay. Number two, legendary passives. Okay. So passive skills. So everybody starts off with only, well, legendaries and rares start off with like the only the first passive unlocked. Once you get to 3 stars, it unlocks the second. Once you get to 5 stars, it unlocks the third. The reason why that's important is when you level up your passive abilities with talismans, the skill that it feeds is random. There is no way to choose which skill you want unless only one skill is even open, right? So there are a couple of legendaries that their first passive is so amazing that you want to actually hold off and not take them to 3 stars until you can max that first passive. As I mentioned before, Frost Betty is the best damage in the game. Okay, well, period. His first passive will allow you to attack 2 additional random enemies at level 3 with only a 3 turn cooldown. Again, all maxed up. So he already hits like a freaking freight train, but then you're going to attack 2 additional enemies, ignoring a certain amount of defense with a lower passive cooldown time. So huge, right? So this would be one where you'd want to maximize that first passive if at all possible. Another really good example is Gillian, best healer in the game. Okay, not only does she do her job amazing as a healer, but oh my god, 80% chance to trigger a 30% attack gauge decrease. Like little turn meter bar, 30% reduction for 2 random enemies. So she can lower the turn meter slash attack gauge for almost the entire enemy party. Okay. Again, fully maxed out. It starts at 60. You raise it 20, which is where the 80 comes from. You start off at 1 random target and increases it to 2. So that's another good example. I'll show you one more. Guinevere, another good example. Like the best reason and why Gwen is so amazing is because of this first passive. Okay. She applies romantic reversal, which is basically, I mean, this is all well and good, but you want it for the abnormal status immunity. Okay. The target, your team, cannot be hit, cannot be affected by abnormal status skills. Okay. What is an abnormal status skill? I'm going to do this off memory and hope I don't screw up. Lots. Is it S3? No. S2? Oh, crap. Yeah, see, now I'm going to screw up. Is it as passive? No, it's not as passive. Yeah. Okay. Abnormal status. Look at all, look at how much stuff abnormal status is. Guinevere protects against all of this crap. Okay. Every time she gets hit, it lowers the counter on how long she does that. But the higher her passive is, the more counts she has on that ability, which is why, again, that's another example of a really good one to focus on. Okay, cool. So those are. Oh, sorry, one more. In terms of we're talking about efficiency, right? Speed and efficiency. So when you're doing the power dungeons, the bosses, Boros, for example. Okay, you're going to skip that. You can auto target the boss's head or their body, like the main part. You can auto target if you click. See how I'm clicking? See all those little white lines that shoot out? Like that is showing that you are auto targeting the boss. Okay, so turn on auto attack, and whatever you click sets the the appendage or what have you of what you're going to attack. Okay, and it'll run through that the entire way of your auto run. So you're doing 30 runs, which is the maximum. You click it once, good to go for those 30 runs. Okay. Part two, setting your skills. Okay. It uses vigor if it's available from right to left. Okay. So in this example for DJ, if as long as I have one vigor, as long as I have one or more vigor, it's going to prioritize this skill, his S2, which is all you want for Gorgos. It's what clears the dots that he puts on you. It's going to use that. If it has less than one vigor, it's going to go to the left. Okay. So I have the default skill at two, but like essentially this is the exact same thing. Because again, if this is the priority and it doesn't have enough vigor, it's going to move left. So the only other option it could choose is this. So having a one in the middle and then having a 1-2, exact same thing. Okay. Anguish is a good example because you want to do his S3. You want to do his S3 as much as possible. You can stack up to 3 chills, which is the cold damage over time, which is the mechanic that you need to defeat Gorgos. So at one, if he has 4 or more vigor, he's going to use that. But if he has 3 vigor, let's say, upon his turn, he's going to go all the way down to S1. He's going to skip S2, which is useless for Gorgos. And he's going to do the second priority level that you set, which is his basic S1. Still better than nothing. You have a chance to put 1 chill for the S1, but you have 3 chances to apply chill on his S3. So that's a good example of where you'd want to set that as one priority, skip this entirely so it'll never be used, and then go to the S2 if vigor is tight. Cool. Okay, so that is all I had for you. Back to the let's see. I can go. No, not that. I can go back to this here. I just want to say one more thing. Like the top 5 legendaries I talked about earlier, 4 of those top 5, the default relic that they summon with is completely usable. So the only one that you kind of need to hope to pull the relic as well at some point is Betty with Frost. His fire is default. It's still really good. It's a good relic. Um, but Frost is where it's at. Okay, but Merlin default is Frost. Gwen default is Wind. Storm totally usable. Fire's got some good utility, but Wind is absolutely usable. Again, her passive and her S1, all S1s are the same. So S1 is her buff removal, which again is why she is awesome with the pig boss, because removing that shield, that barrier, removing the barrier is much nicer than having to hit it down through a number of individual hits on your attacks. Gillian's default is fire, probably even better than Frost. If actually don't even I don't know. I think I used Frost for like the team heal aspect, but fire is amazing. And then Morgan summons with fire. Awesome, amazing relic. So bonus again, if you are able to pull one of those 5, you don't even have to pull. You don't have to worry about pulling the other relic, except maybe for Betty here. Okay, cool guys. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful to you, like hit the like button, subscribe if you want. I'm not a content creator by nature. I do this for fun, but the like button especially pushes the algorithm to YouTube to like help maybe other people find this video and help them out. So again, if you found it helpful, I'd appreciate that. All right, thanks. Talk to you later.